Just to go to the point that Jeff Sessions said, are you lacking compassion by suggesting that this should end immediately?
Well, as a lawyer, the question is it illegal for the executive branch to give this amnesty as Obama did? And the answer is yes. It violates 3 federal statutes. It violates 2 provisions of the Constitution. Numerous federal courts have already concluded that in the DACA case, which was related. And so legally, it has to end. And one could argue that the administration is showing compassion by saying, okay, even though it's illegal, we're going to continue doing it for 6 months and give a sort of legal protection that technically we, the federal government, don't have the authority to give through executive action for another 6 months. So either way, it had to end because the lawsuit was going to be brought by the 9 states if the executive branch of the federal government didn't act to end DACA now.
And that's why I was asking if you lacked compassion by suggesting you would end it immediately. Surely we can't just focus on the legality purely here when these are children that, for all intents and purposes, are American. They've grown up here. They've been educated here. I think people would look at this and go, you're not being fair.
Well, no, I mean, you have to get the facts out, first of all. The average age of a DACA alien is 25 years old. Median age, sorry, is 25 years old. These are not children. They are individuals who claim to have entered the United States before the age of 16, but up until today, you could be 36 years old and still claim access to the DACA amnesty. But I do have compassion. I have compassion for, the bottom line is there are jobs out there and people are competing for those jobs. And I have compassion for the legal aliens who aren't able to get these jobs because they're competing with this illegal population, and the U.S. citizens. Right now, if you have a high school diploma and you're a U.S. citizen and you go out on the job market with that high school diploma, your unemployment rate is 17% and your underemployment rate, meaning you're going to have to accept part-time work, is 31% because you can't find full-time work. So it's a tough job market, and I would say, look, as a country, we should look after our own citizens and the aliens who come here legally first before we start handing access to those jobs to people who are here illegally. So yeah, I have compassion, but you have to look at your U.S. citizens who are struggling first.
Yeah, I understand, sir. Do you think Congress can enshrine this in law in 6 months? Yeah.
Well, it's going to be an uphill climb for them. Since 2001, there have been more than 24 attempts at passing the DREAM Act, and all of them have failed. There was one that came pretty close in 2010, and it got defeated by a few votes in the Senate. So it's certainly possible, but I think if passed as any guide, it's going to be hard for them to pass the DREAM Act in 6 months, but certainly possible.